This is LA's first.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome to the Dr. Erin Show. We're all about manifestation, transformation, and breakthroughs. It's time to claim your birthright of prosperity, vitality, and love. So grab your tea or coffee because together we're awakening the world. May you live your truth. Are you somebody that desires to be a soul-based millionaire? Are you somebody that desires to have millions of followers across social media to have an impact? Well, then you should listen to this podcast. Welcome to the Dr. Erin podcast. We come together to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, and align with universal law. We truly believe that when somebody awakens, they have a gift and message to bring to the world. So I am so incredibly excited for you guys to listen to this podcast. As a doctor of divinity and somebody that trains and develops spiritual coaches, practitioners, world-renowned leaders, I was so touched by this woman. Daisy Keech and I were brought together by the universe, and she truly feels like my soul daughter. And I am just touched and inspired by her ability to influence millions and millions of people across the globe. And so this is an inspired interview for her to share her story with you. So sit back, relax. I would take some time for yourself, and may you be inspired. May you also see a new possibility for yourself and your life. Stay tuned. Okay, I am beyond excited for this interview. Do you know, I have not had very many interviews at all on my podcast, and I am honored, so honored today. We have Daisy Keech, who she is kind of like my soul daughter. She was brought to me through the universe, and we've been working together for a little bit now. She's super inspiring. Not only has she built millions and millions of followers on Instagram, and let me just say the numbers because they're impressive: 5.8 million on IG, 1.76 on YouTube, 6.4 on TikTok, and I don't even know all the other platforms. But she is somebody she's a self-made millionaire at 22 years old. And she helps people basically build their lifestyle. She's a lifestyle creative content creator, if you will. And she helps people get in their healthy, mindset and body and all that good stuff, building the peach that they are, that big booty that we all want these days. But I'm going to say on a personal note, real quick, why I'm the most honored to be with her today. And it's a personal thing because I was 22 at the age when I had my spiritual awakening. And whenever I think about making a difference in the world, I actually have a vision of a younger version of myself. And I think that that's why the universe put us together. So Daisy, how are you, hon?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much. Those words are so kind.
Mm-hmm. Where are you right now? I love how you're just like in your casual and yet so gorgeous at the same time.
I'm in Nashville, Tennessee right now. I'm in between Los Angeles and here. Me and my boyfriend just bought a house, so we're starting the renovation process. And in the meantime, I'm living with my cousin here in Nashville. So yeah, we're just figuring life out.
Right. Okay, cool. So there's a few things we want to go through today. One is, I know that people probably tune in to your channels and they're, inspired by your lifestyle, inspired by what you're up to. And I'm sure they're wondering, how do I become a millionaire? And how do I also become somebody who's going through my own spiritual awakening? So I actually want to ask you a little bit about your journey, a few things. One, about kind of the hard things you've been through in life, because I know people think, well, she's pretty and she can do that, but how can I do that? So I want to know, what's your journey been like? What are some of the hard things you had to overcome to get to where you are?
Yeah, definitely. So I had definitely a hard time in school with other girls. I was more quiet and more introverted. So no, I felt like I couldn't ever connect with any girlfriends. And I felt like I just had the whole world against me because everything that I wanted to do in life, I felt like it was the wrong, like I couldn't do it because of the people in my life that were trying to hold me back and telling me that I had to live life the way that they wanted me to. So I really just had to overcome all of that and just think about what I really wanted for my life. And just to start off, a little backstory on me. I grew up going to a private Christian school for about 10 years, and then I went to a public high school. And then after high school, I went off to college in Santa Barbara, and I hated my life there. I am not a partier at all. So So I wanted to go home, and then I went to my local JC in Northern California, and I was working at an auto body shop, and I just felt so unhappy. Like, this isn't what I want with my life. And so I started to like research social media. And after while I was in college, I would be like in class researching social media while I should be like studying whatever subject I'm in. And I'm like, okay, this is a sign.
So I think, real quick, I think that there's a really important point there, because I think that I experienced that young also, where some of the quote, quote, pretty girls, it's, I think it's relative. And I'm not going to take away from people who have real things they're dealing with, and people go, poor you were pretty and people didn't like you, like, please. But I think the point is this, is that you can be pretty and be really sad inside, and it doesn't mean anything. And I do think that people out there, no matter what, no matter where you're at, there's a struggle that everyone's dealing with before you've had your awakening, before you've found your true self, that no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, there's an internal struggle for every person that are going through. So
totally. And to me, it's like, I am so like, I don't like live on this earth in my head. Like, I feel like I am somewhere up in the clouds all the time. So I like don't see earthly things of like as importance, like looks or just normal things that like, you grow up and you see how life is. I've always just seen life from like just a different perspective. And I never like looked at those things. So I guess, maybe people probably would misunderstand me because, oh, she's pretty, she has no problems. I don't know, she got followers because she's pretty, but it's like, I've had a lot of like really like staple, like, I want to say like milestones or just traumas in my life that I don't really feel comfortable sharing online, that have just really brought me to like, I feel like excel in other like areas of life and have really pushed me. I would say.
So let's talk about some of those. So what is some of because obviously us working together, and anybody out there that doesn't know who I am, I'm a doctor of divinity and specializing in helping people really clear out their soul, right? So like, say a Daisy may have had major spiritual awakening, almost out of body times, whatever. But what I've found working with clients is that we have to really deal with the actual DNA. We have to deal with the traumas that are kind of in the body and stuff like that. And so I don't know if you want to get into too much detail here, but what are some of those real solid points in your life where you decided something that actually played out in your life, not necessarily in a positive way? What are some of those core things? So you said you were kind of had a hard time meeting friends young because you felt like almost an outsider. What else?
Yeah. This is hard for me because I don't know if I want to share. I would say, I don't know what to say, Dr. Erin.
You don't have to say names, and you can say, because look, the reality is most of us had moments. We had moments when something happened in a traumatic incident, whether it was just a high state of emotional state. And in that moment, we decided that we're not going to love, or we're not worthy of love, or something's wrong with me, or I'm not enough, or whatever it is. And sometimes it can actually drive people to actually become very successful because it becomes something that's a winning formula. It also can make people not be able to make money, but it's still in that limited belief and in that division that has people feel sad inside because they're not fully connected. And so our goal, like for Daisy, is to have her be, she's already an incredibly able woman. She's obviously, right, to be able to be truly transparent and also be authentic, so that when she has the next multi-millions that she's making, that she can fully be loving her life and not just having a bunch of money, but not fully having herself, right? So whatever it is that you want to share with the audience, because your audience loves you. They're fanatical fans, and they just want to know more. And you might not say names, but you may say some things because maybe they can relate for relationship stuff or parent stuff or bullying stuff or whatever's going on. Went on.
So I would say one major moment that I had as a child that like really affected why I think it was so hard for me to make friends and to see life in a more positive way, like growing up. I had this person in my life that we did everything together, and it felt like she was always trying to like sabotage my friendships. And I remember one time we were all sitting in a pool, and and all my friends were around, and then I look around, all of a sudden everyone's gone. And then so I go upstairs to go and try to find my friends, and I hear them laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, they're just up here. So I walk in, and all of a sudden, like everyone just stops talking. And I felt really uncomfortable. So I was like, okay, like I'm clearly the problem here. Like there's something wrong with me. They don't like me. And um, then I left and I like obviously stayed and I wanted to hear what they're saying about me because I just wanted to hear. And I heard them talking about me and mainly this one person that I thought was really close to me. And after that moment, it just created like so much social anxiety in me. And there's been other little traumas with this specific person just growing up from like, I want to say like 3 years old to like 13. So there's like all of that entire time span of having moments like that really just, I want to say like hurt the way that I viewed like friendships and just relationships with people in general. It made me terrified to like meet people. And I just assumed that everyone would hate me right away.
Yeah.
And
And so we obviously did that trauma on that incident, right? We went
yeah,
through it, neutralized it. And as Daisy knows, there's a moment where we decide, we realize that in that moment of that high emotional state of that, trauma that happened out there, that maybe someone did something out there, but it's
yeah.
actually the command that happened inside that played out in our lives, right? So do you want to speak into that of what enlightenment you've had
Mhm.
around neutralizing those traumas and being able to take back your
Yeah.
power?
I mean, I'll be honest, like it still does affect me some days, and I still do have to like reiterate to myself that that was just her, that one girl, and it was her traumas that made her do this to me. It had nothing to do with me and who I was as a person. Like I was just a little girl going through life, like I had no ill intent or anything. So
Mhm.
it was her and what she was going through, and I have love, and I think that there's beauty in that and her transformation. Um, but I would say just things that have helped me is just reminding myself that the things that I told myself after that moment, that they're not true. Like they don't exist unless I make them exist. Like how could I
Mhm.
walk into a room and a random person just hate me? Like what? Like that just wouldn't make any sense unless they have just so much trauma and hurt and pain within themselves, you know?
Yes, so true.
So
I think that's
that's
the
one
biggest
thing that's helped
enlightenment
me.
for
Yeah.
sure. And then I'm curious to know about your actual spiritual awakening, because I know for so many
Mhm.
people, they're going through their spiritual awakening. They don't know what's going, like for me, it was scary when I first, it was a long time ago, right? It's been 25 years, or how long has it been since I've been 22? More than that, right? So like I began at 22 is when I had a full-term stillborn. I was in the
Yeah.
mortician's house. I was looking down in his body after giving birth to him. And I realized we're not these bodies. And I began to go on my spiritual journey, and it was
Mm.
scary. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, am I in this world? Am I not in this world? I was like having moments, and then I slam back into being human. And so what's
Yeah.
the actual journey been like for you in your spiritual awakening?
So it started very, very young. Like I'm actually like looking back now, I'm like, this is kind of crazy. But so growing up, my dad was not the nicest to my family. He was never physically abusive, but there was a lot of verbal abuse caused or like that stemmed from his own stress. So when you're yelled at as a little kid, you tend to like go inside of yourself and be like, why am I being yelled at? And you
Mhm.
start to really have this self-awareness from a young age, I think. At least that's my theory on myself. And I remember I was like 8 and I was playing soccer and I was standing in the soccer field and I was like, are these my hands? And I was like 8 years old and I was like,
Wow.
am I
Mhm.
even here on this earth? And I literally didn't think I existed until someone called my name, like called me back to
Wow.
earth.
Right.
And
Did
I
you,
was
did
so
you,
confused.
did you find, because like I felt the same very, very young. Like I felt
Yeah.
very spiritual. And then I almost like shut it down because
Yeah.
no one confirmed it. And I was like, I kind of like just like almost suppressed it. And then it wasn't until I had the stillborn that I began to turn back on the abilities and stuff.
Yeah, and I think that when you're young, you just think this is life. This is just how we all are. You don't
Hmm.
really have like those thoughts to like go deeper into it, I think, at a
Hmm.
young age.
So then what
And
happened?
then,
So you'd have these
yeah,
moments like, and did you talk about it with anyone? Like,
no, I
how did you
never
deal with
did
it?
because I think that I would talk to people about things and then they wouldn't feel the same way. So then I was like, okay, I'm weird. Like, I just need to stop
Mhm.
talking. But then as I got older, like after coming back from Santa Barbara, I met this photographer friend and he introduced me into spirituality and manifesting. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been manifesting my whole life. Like there's like this portal from like the universe that just pours into my head and somehow I just know what to do and know how to manifest. And I
Mhm.
realized I've been doing it my whole life. And I remember at my auto body shop, I had this work notebook that they gave me. And they're like, don't write anything in the back. Like, this is for work only. And I wrote down like all my goals and my dreams. And I would be like crying. Like, there's still teardrops on this notebook.
Mm.
And it was intense. I would trace over the words over and over.
So what was
And
on
then
it?
what was on it?
Yeah.
I could actually show it to you. I
Oh,
have it.
show it to it. Do it. Yeah. That's so
Here.
awesome. It's so cool. It's been amazing how we came together. And it's just so beautiful because I think that now the world is really opening up to spirituality. Like it's becoming such a normal thing. And I
Yeah.
just think, oh my gosh, I wish I had this wisdom at your age, the wisdom of all universal law and all the things that we teach in New Thought Global and Society. And I'm just so excited for all the people that are on the journey with you in social media
Yeah.
to watch all this. Okay, so let's see it.
Okay. So this is the famous notebook. As you can see, I have like my work notes of like how to answer the phone and everything. And then back here, like I'll show you this one page. Like it's intense looking. Like you can see the passion in this notebook. Where is it? Oh, it's this page. Like look at this.
Oh,
Can you
whoa.
feel the energy through this page?
That looks like the front, a cover of a book or something like that.
But basically, I have my soulmate on here. Of course, like love is something that means the world to me, unconditional love. I remember I wanted to work with Gymshark really bad, and I wanted to make my first $1 million. I wanted to have 1 million subscribers on YouTube, 1 million followers on Instagram. I wanted to work with this bikini company, Boutique LA. And all of this, like all of my growth through social media, had a huge strategy. Like I remember I would research, like, okay, how are people growing? People who are doing fitness stuff are growing really fast. So I started doing that. I would buy a bunch of Gymshark clothes and I would take photos like they would post on their Instagram. So then they would repost me. And then I was like, okay, I kind of plateaued. So now what am I going to do next? And then I found the bikini company. Their models grew a lot, got from there. And then once you get to like 300K, you can really just sprout up on your own.
Mm.
So I remember I had just this crazy strategy plus passion and like just excitement to change my life and to
Hmm.
see that there's other life out there and it's not so black and white. It's to whatever you want. Like it's your reality, you know?
Totally. Right.
Everyone's is different and it's so cool.
So a few things. One, I think that people want to know what are your kind of maybe three things you'd say if somebody wants to grow their following.
Mm.
And then what I'd like to do is actually, I want to talk about, how they can actually become, because that's really our goal is how do we become the millionaire and become spiritually awakened and really become our most authentic. So let's kind of walk through those together with everyone. But first, what would you say if you're giving some advice, how to grow their, say, Instagram or YouTube, three pieces of advice?
Well, I would look at the trends first off, because if you do something that's trending, the algorithm is going to naturally push it already. I think that the second thing is to just be completely authentic to yourself and just really think about like what is the type of content that I want to put out there? Like what value am I going to add to my followers? Like why would someone want to follow me? And then with that, like obviously put in the hard work plus the strategy to grow, whatever that is, through the trends or through doing something that people would never expect you to do, something that shocks people, obviously. And then the
Where
third
would they
thing,
find the trends? Is there a particular place they would go to
well,
find
yeah, it's
trends?
like if you scroll through TikTok, you'll see multiple people doing the same thing.
Got it. Hmm.
So that's how you know it's a trend when a bunch of people
Hmm.
are doing it.
So you just go straight on. There isn't a particular
Yeah.
site, just straight on to
Uh-huh.
just see. You just spend time, check it out, see what's working, not working. Okay, cool. Hmm.
Exactly. Basically that. And then the third thing I would say is you have to like feel it in your heart. Like you
Hmm.
can't just manifest and say, I have 1 million followers on Instagram or wherever. You need to like feel the passion. Like you need to feel the goosebumps and like your
Yes.
fingers need to tingle. Like that is how I felt. Like you need to put your whole heart into it and like you can't think of failures as the end. It's just more of like a hump that you have to get over. Like
So
those
true.
who like who they you only like really fail if you give up. Like you
Mhm.
can't fail unless you literally stop yourself from keep on going, you know?
So
Um,
true. So
so yeah,
when you're doing that visioning, like last night, I put in certain music and I call it prayer, right? I call it affirmative prayer. It's not just a man in the sky, but it's to manifest, to really embody and feel. And when I do a powerful affirmative mind treatment, I literally have tears rolling
yeah,
down my face and chills. What's your confirmation? The chills for you?
yeah, it's the same as yours. It's the chills
Mm-hmm.
and it's just this intense feeling of just like pure happiness and joy and like love for everything on this earth and beyond this earth.
Yes.
And it's like you
Yes.
just know. It's just like you know.
You know, for sure.
Yeah.
It's so good. And so I'm sure your audience wants to know when you go into that space right now, what's the vision that you're holding for your future?
That's a really good question. That's something I'm trying to figure out right now because I'll be honest, when I hit my goals that I was manifesting like a couple years ago, I was like, what now? Like now that I hit them, what do I do? And I felt like I lost my spirituality. So right now, my like personal goals are just to grow as much as I can spiritually and truly get
Mhm.
to like back to those feelings that I had before I like moved to LA, like while I was starting social media, like that was the most like spiritually incredible time of my life. And so
Mhm.
my goal is really just to get back to that. And then my goals financially is I want to just start building my real estate portfolio and start acquiring more investment properties. Um,
Great.
yeah. And then
Amazing.
also another huge thing I see for myself is just being a mom. Like I'm really
Mhm.
excited to have babies. I have visions of them all the time. So that's
So
going to be a
good.
huge passion of mine. I just know it when the time comes.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Daisy and I have been working for a little together for a little bit, and it's been such an honor. And so what we do when we come together, just so you guys know out there, is basically there's kind of two pillars of spiritual awakening. One is we're logically understanding what's going on, how universal law works, how, to use the mind to focus on what we do want instead of what we don't want, to align with universal law and to align with our specific truth. Because what works for Daisy in her relationships, in her career, in her health is unique for her, right? We're always coming up to the I am, coming to all potential, and then we're creating the unique divine individual. And she is, she's the highest product to produce, really and true, is herself, right? And then the other processes that we go through are processes to basically clear out the soul, transform the trauma, birth her truth, and have her really in that the most powerful essence that she is. So in that, spiritual awakening is amazing. Like I said, like we've had all had maybe out of body experiences or some enlightenment moment, but then we get triggered being in the same room as our family, right? Like, so we want to deal with the
Yeah.
DNA and we want to deal with that so that we can be powerful, even when we're meditating and we're not meditating. So, so, um, so Daisy, I guess the thing for us is like, what's next, right?
Mhm.
You're on your YouTube and a bunch of things. You have Keech Peach, you help people work out, get their booty, whatever. I'm assuming as you are doing this work, helping people get their mindset, helping them more and more, I know it'll probably naturally integrate more and more. So what can they look forward to maybe in following you and getting more of their spiritual work as well?
Yeah, I mean, for example, right now, like the content that I take is just in a line with my life and what stage I'm at. So right now I'm trying to grow in my spirituality. I'm trying to get myself onto like new healthy habits that actually last. So I'm actually doing like a little vlog series right now about just how to get back into those new and healthy habits that last a lifetime rather than 30 days, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, so just a healthy lifestyle that you, I don't know, that I don't know, it's really just like following like my followers more of just like follow my journey and what I'm doing, and I just like hope that it can inspire them
Mhm.
because I it's like it I'm still a human and this is still my life, you know, and I feel like a lot of influencers they fake a lot of things for their followers to get more followers, but something
Mhm.
that like I just really want to do is just be authentic to myself and to teach as I learn, you know?
Yeah.
So like everything I've been learning to you, I've been sharing in my YouTube video that I've been filming like actually today.
Oh,
So yeah, so I just want to try to like help a lot of people, especially young girls my age, and just introduce them into spirituality
totally.
and that they can do anything they set their mind to, no matter like who tells them they can't.
Totally, a thousand
Yeah.
percent. So I thought we'd do just a little spiritual mind treatment. Maybe we could just do some gratitude or setting your intention for the audience, and then I'll follow you. Do you want to just start first? Just setting the intention or taking a deep breath in, you guys, through the nose and exhaling out. I'll just let you start with some gratitude or whatever is there for you for your audience.
I'm grateful for just the world and the universe and just how everything works together so perfectly.
Yes, I'm so grateful to be used for the highest good. And I know this for Daisy, and I know that as she touches millions of lives, as she finds her truth and steps more and more into the light of who she is, she's able to touch so many lives out there. And I just I'm holding in my heart all the young women in particular, just knowing that there are answers, there is community, there are processes, there are things to really truly love yourself and to truly embody your highest version, that the highest product and greatest product to produce is you. And that the millionaire mindset has to begin with you loving yourself and knowing your own self-worth. And so I'm just so grateful for this opportunity to come together. Thank you for the universe connecting Daisy and I. Thank you for all the technology that allows us to all connect. May we all come together in community and mind and help rise and thrive together. I just say, thank you, thank you, thank you. As together we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
Yes. So Daisy can be found. Her line is Keech Peach because the booty is a big thing. And I truly believe that it's okay to have material and spiritual. It's great. It's beautiful. And we can really thrive in all of our opulence. So tell them where they can find you across all social media.
Yeah, on all social media, it's just my name, Daisy Keech. I do have a fitness page though on Instagram that is Keech Peach, KeechPeach. And that's where I post most of my fitness content. And I also sell workout programs and booty bands on www.keechpeach.fit.
Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. So, really honored to be on this journey with you. I feel like we're totally soul family. And again, you guys can check me out at drerin.tv across all social media, which is DRERIN.tv. And you can get involved with the community. New Thought Global and Society, we teach people to be spiritual warriors and do all their inner work and help them get developed in their expertise if they want to get trained in certified in all the work and also in their business development. So just sending a big old gratitude to you, my love, and excited for where the journey takes us next. Okay. Love you so much.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you for tuning into the Dr. Erin podcast. If you've had a spiritual calling or desire to get certified as a spiritual coach or world-renowned spiritual leader, go to newthoughtglobal.com. If you've received value from this show, I would love it if you share it with a friend and give it a 5-star review. Also, we have spiritual practitioners that are trained to deliver the E4 trauma method and assist you in birthing your truth. So let's be friends on social media. Again, my handle is drerin.tv across all social media. Have a beautiful day and may you live your truth.